Now, what is this, part 4 or 5? I can't remember. But getting into that conversation with my mom, right? And so I remember actually her calling me one day at work and her asking me how I was doing and me falling apart and then letting her know everything that was going on and how I was feeling. And she offered her help because my mom's always been a mom. Now, I'm going to be honest, my dad was a little resistant because he was not happy, but he eventually came around. And a lot of times parents will view it as I am helping my daughter or my son, not necessarily the person they're married to, right? And I think in order to come to grips with what help my mom and him were rendering, that's how my dad viewed it. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother conversation. They pitched in and they started to help. And more so my mom at that time, because she had not lost her mobility. So I could call on her to, render assistance, render support, help me out. And as I went through different things, it was unnerving, but knowing that I had someone to talk to as a caregiver was it was a lifesaver. It was mentally refreshing. It was something that helped keep me grounded so that I could render care, if that makes sense to you caregivers. You need somebody like that who's going to support you. So he goes through the surgery. That day, his family came. Most of his family came to the hospital, which was really supportive. They had promised to render care even after surgery. And so I felt like, and my mom came. My mom came. My dad worked. My mom came. Surgery started early in the morning. I think around 7 o'clock is when they actually started. So we had to be at the hospital very early in the morning. And then surgery was only supposed to be, they said, about 8 hours. But, 5, 6 o'clock at night, we still hadn't heard anything. And I'm sitting here wondering what's going on. And then they told me that he was hemorrhaging. I got a call. We were in the family waiting area. And I got a call that he was hemorrhaging and they had to go back and do surgery again. So we didn't get an update until probably around midnight. And from that point on, things went drastically better. But here comes the post care. And here comes when the caregiving really starts to kick in, because they start to train you, or they started to train me about post care procedures, what to do, how to change his bandages. When he had open heart, he couldn't push up with his hands. So how to help him get up from a laying down or seated position, things to look out for, like swelling or any kind of indication that there was an infection or any kind of bloating and something, how to reach out and what to look for, signs to be aware of, dietary restrictions. So here I have all that on me. I'm being overwhelmed and inundated with information. And remember, I'm working full time. The one thing about caregiving is that it's never just about the care recipient. It isn't. Because as caregivers, we also have other elements that are pushing in on us at the same time. And I'm just going to say this because I don't care if he ever finds this video. My former boss was a used butt wipe. And I'm just going to tell you that. He was a used butt wipe. I don't even know where the man is now. I really don't care. But this man was a hot mess on toast. And I'm being nice. And I'm going to tell you what happened when I had to go to him and tell him I needed time off for this open heart surgery. Next.